Revised Penal Code, Article 11, justifying circumstances the following do not incur of criminal liability. First, anyone who acts in defense of his person or rights, provided that the following circumstances concur. First, unlawful aggression. Second, reasonable necessity of the means employed to prevent or prevail it. Third, lack of sufficient provocation of the part of the person defending himself. Number 2, anyone who acts in defense of the person or rights of his spouse, accidents, descendants, or legitimate natural of adopted brothers or sisters, or his relatives by affinity in the same degree, and thus consequently within the fourth civil degree, provided that the first and second requisite prescribed in the next proceeding circumstances are present, and the further requisite in case the provocation was given by the person attacked, that the making defense had no part train. 3. Anyone who acts in defense of the person or rights or stranger, provided the first and second requisite mentioned in the first circumstances of this are present, and the person defending be not introduced by revenge, resentment of other evil motive. Number 4. Any person who in order to avoid an evil or injury does another, provided that are following requisite and present. First, that the evil sought to be avoided actually exists. Second, that the injury feared be greater than to avoid it. Third, that there be no other practical and less harmful means of preventing it. Number 5. Any person who acts in the fulfillment of a duty or in the lawful exercise of the right of office. 6. Any person who acts in the obedience to an order issued by a superior for some lawful purpose. Article 12. Circumstances which except from criminal liability, the following except from criminal liability. Number 1. An imbecile or insane person, unless the latter has acted during a lucid interval. When the imbecile or insane person has committed an act which the law defines as felony, the court shall be order his commitment in one of hospitals or asylums established for a person those affected, which the shall not be permitted to live without first obtaining the permission of the same court. Number 2. A person under 9 years of age. Number 3. A person over 9 years of age and under 15, unless he has acted with a discernment, in which case such minor shall be proceeded against in according with the provision of Article 80 of this code. When such minor is adjudged to be criminally irresponsible, the court, in the incomparable and the preceding paragraph shall commit him to the care and custody of his family, who shall be charged with his surveillance and education. Otherwise, he shall be committed to the care of some institution or person mentioned in said Article 18. 4. Any person who, while performing a lawful act with due care, causes of the injury by mere accident without fault or intention causing it. 5. Any person who acts under the compulsion of the irresistible force. 6. Any person who acts under the impulse or of an uncontrollable fear of an equal or greater injury. 7. Any person who fails perform an act required by law will prevented by some lawful inseparable cause. Article 13. Mitigating circumstances. The following are mitigating circumstances. Number 1. Those mentioned in the preceding chapter. When all the requests necessary to justify or the except from criminal liability in the respective causes are not attended. Number 2. That the offender is under 18 years of age or over 17 years. In the case of the minor, he shall be proceeded against in accordance with the provision of Article 80. Number 3. That offender had no intention to commit so grave a wrong as that committed. Number 4. That sufficient provocation or threat on the part of the offended party immediately preceded the act. Number 5. That the act was committed in the immediate vindication of a grave of offense to the one committing the following felony delito, here supposed exceeding or relatives by affinity within the same degree. Number 6. That of having acted upon impulse so powerful as naturally to have produced passion or obfuscation. Number 7. That the offender had voluntarily surrendered himself to a person, authority, or his agent, or that he had voluntarily confessed his guilt before the court prior the presentation of the evidence for the prosecution. Number 8. That the offender is deaf and dumb, blind and otherwise suffering some physical defect, which does strict in his means of action, defense, or communication with his fellow beings. Number 9. Such is illness of the offender as would diminish the exercise of the willpower of the offender without, however, depriving him of the consequences of his act. Number 10. An act finally and other circumstances of a similar nature and analogous to those above mentioned. Number 14. Article number 14. Uh, Aggravating circumstances. The following are aggravating circumstances. Number 1. That advantage be taken by the offender of his public position. Number 2. That the crime is committed in contempt or with insult to the public authorities. Number 3. That the act is committed with insult or in disgrace of party of account of his rank, age or sex, or that is be committed in the dwelling of the offended party if the latter has no given provocation. Number 4, that the act is committed with the abuse of confidence or obvious ungratefulness. Number 5, that the crime is committed in the palace in the chief executive or in his presence or wherein public authorities are engaged in the discharge of their duties or in a place dedicated to the religious worship. Number 6, that the crime is committed in the night time or in uninhabited place or by ban whenever such circumstances may facilitate the commission of the offense. Whenever more than 3 armed malefactors shall be acted together in the commission of an offense, it shall be deemed to have been committed by a ban. Number 7, that the crime is committed on the occasion of conflagration, shipwreck, earthquake, epidemic, or other calamity or misfortune. Number 8, that the crime is committed with aid of armed man or person who import immunity. Number 9, that the accused is a recidivist. Recidivist is one of who at the time of his trial of one crime shall have been previously convicted by a final judgment of another crime, embraced in the same title of this code. Number 10, that the offender has been previously punished by offense to which the law attaches an equal or greater penalty, or 2 or more crimes to which attach a lighter penalty. Number 11, that the crime is be committed in consideration of a price, reward, or promise. Number 12, that the crime be committed by means initiation, fire, pollution, explosion, stranding of a vessel, international damage. 3, derailment of locomotive, or by the use on either artifice involving great risk on ruin. Number 13, that the act be committed with the evidence premeditation. Number 14, that the craft is fraud or squeeze be employed. Number 15, that the advantage be taken superior strength or mean to be employed to weaken in the defense. Number 16, that the act be committed with treasury alibitia. There is a treasury when the offender commits any of the crimes against the person. Employing methods performs in the execution in the train directly and especially to ensure its execution without risk to himself arising from the from the defense 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 execution without risk himself arising from the defense with the offended party might make. Number 17, that the means employed or circumstances brought about which the other economy of this act. Number 18, that the crime be committed after an unlawful entry. Number 19, there is in an unlawful entry when an entrance of a crime of wall, roof, floor, door or window be broken. Number 20, that the crime be committed that the crime be committed with the aid of person under 15 years 15 years 15 years 15 years 15 years 15 years of age by a means of motor vehicles, motorized watercraft, airship, or other similar means as are amended by a Public Act number 5438. Number 21, that the wrong done is the commission of the crime deliberately agreement by causing other wrong not necessary for its commission. Article 15. Their concept alternative circumstances are those which must be taken into consideration as aggravating or mitigating according to the nature of effects of the crime and the condition attending of commission. They are relationship institution and a degree of instruction of education of the offender. The alternative circumstances are relationships shall be taken into consideration when the offended party in the spouse, accidents, descendants, legitimate, natural, or adopted brother and sister, or relative by affinity in the same degree the offender. The education of the offender shall be taken in the consideration as mitigating circumstances when the offender has committed a felony in a state of intoxication. Same is not habitual or subsequent to the plan of the committed said felony, but when the intoxication is habitual or international, it shall be considered as aggravating circumstances.